Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep you all well, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. Now, this is a new series. Hope you enjoy it. Make sure you subscribe, like and comment. It's called Real Men Say No, and it's about why married men cheat with younger girls. I'll do another video called Why Married Men Cheat with Older Women. So keep an eye out for those. Make sure you hit that bell button so you don't miss out. Enjoy. Far too many married men, blokes, are straying into the haram. It's a sad reality today with our ummah. We like to imagine that our Muslim brothers are different, that somehow we are more like faithful compared to other men from other religions because we have Islam. But sadly, and this is very sad, reality is this is not the case. Nowadays, men are just, well, being men. And they're not just cheating in real life at work, for example, or gym, or socializing, or through other family connections. But actually, a bigger proportion today are doing so on social media sites, on the internet, online, where they have easy access to members of the opposite gender. Have you noticed something? That as soon as you get married, the offers start rolling in. Really? No? Me neither. Well, maybe that's because Satan is working overtime. Yeah, definitely. It's Satan, man. It's that Satan. That evil, bleeding, evil, whispering beast from hell. It's obviously his fault. It's his fault. When I find him, it's... he's finished. So why do we stray after marriage, even when we have a lovely wife at home? Well, frankly, reality hits you hard. And I mean like really hard.
Oh, that's brutal. Oh, just fucking...
So you've got a wife and you have done what you had to do. You ticked off that particular box. That wasn't the wife, by the way. That was... anyway, so you've ticked off that particular box. I probably deserve that when I'm saying tick. Well, that's not appropriate. Anyway, so you've got it out of your system. So woohoo, you finally made it to the men's league, the big boys league. You're a man. Who's the man? I can't hear you. And now it's kind of a repetition time for the next 500 odd years.
Why are you sad?
Am I sad? Do I look sad? Do I look sad? Seriously, do I look sad?
It's now finally the moment that you've been waiting for all your life, ever since you watched Shah Rukh Khan and Kajal on Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge in your Jahiliya days, to do the fun and amazing work of building a relationship brick by brick.
I call this the CCRP, which I will explain in a minute. So this is the interesting part of when you build a relationship from scratch, as you must know by now, if you're married that is. It's bloody hard work. It really is. It's excruciating work, building a relationship from scratch. It's more harder than building a house. It's more harder than building a business, I think. Although some brothers might disagree because they've started a business and they've lost their hair, etc. But you know what I mean. It's bloody hard work working with people and building and starting up a new relationship. They have my sympathy. Naturally, as human beings, we are averse. So we hate anything that involves putting in an effort because it requires the first C, consistency. From now on, you got to get up and go to work every morning. Because it's not just about you anymore. You have a future to build together, money for a house to save, and those beautiful, angelic, potential brats who are about to hit a 6 on your free time. C number 2 is commitment. You gotta be all in, both feet. Be able to look your wife in the eye and tell her how much you love her. An inch of hesitation and she'll suss you out, man. Women are good like that because they have to be, if they're going to be successful mothers to your babies. R is for responsibility. Because now, from now on, the buck stops with you, man. You're not going to get a free pass anymore. None of that. Daddy will chip in and save the day. Oh, God, no. You got to make sure you pay your way now. At the very least, you got to pay your share of the bills. In terms of cost of wife, it now falls entirely on you. You're officially now a man. If she walks out, that is your wife, looking like the bride of Frankenstein, it's entirely now on you, mate. Not her. Everyone's going to be like, oh, that's Jabbar's new wife. Oh my God, what's up with that old style kuch kuch hota hai or whatever film you're into outfit? Thank God I didn't marry this Jabbar when he proposed to me. I would have been in that poor woman's shoes. That's what people are going to say when they see your wife, if she's not looking spanking in her latest outfits. That's pressure, man. Finally, the P. So we had C, we had R, and now P. P is for patience. Now, that is certainly a virtue, I tell you. There is a reason why it is stressed so much in Islam. Because if you thought that you had patience in abundance before marriage, then I'm afraid, dear brothers, you don't know what you're talking about. And the married brothers out there, they know what I'm talking about. Because you now have to be prepared, my poor, poor brothers, for it to be tested to its utmost breaking point and limit. All of a sudden, it is no longer just your opinion that you have to consider and contend with. Oh no! How stupid can you be? No decision is final anymore. Well, not until it's past the "Madam, I am your wife, so I have a say also" test. So, all you mollycoddled brothers with loving, doting mothers, from now on, get used to operating in a partnership. You're no longer the sole trader of your life, my friends. Those days are gone, I'm afraid. I'm afraid so. Sorry. They're gone. Kiss it goodbye. The quicker you get that in your head, the better it will be for you. Like your freedom, that's also gone. Like your hobbies, 99% of those have to go as well. Sorry, so yes, you can pretty much kiss all that goodbye, basically. I mean, you can start bringing them back in, slowly reintroducing them after about 35 years. So, when all that hits you at once, like 1,000 angels, who am I kidding? Like a truck. No, a train, yeah. Actually, it actually feels more like you're flying into a Boeing 747's spinning propeller at speed. Okay, that's enough. So what I'm trying to say is, it's a big bloody bad shock to the old male. I can only do one thing at a time. Simple, happy-go-lucky, single secret girlfriend on the side. To hell with the world. Let's just kissy and watch this movie system. You have to understand, by now, you've been single for far longer than you've been married. And just because you're now married, it doesn't mean that your useless pea-sized Neanderthal brain has caught up with the idea. You're still in, for a while yet, transition mode. And it takes a while, maybe as long as 2-3 years, for your mind and body to get used to the fact. It's a huge adjustment, man, which needs to happen. And it's not always going to be clean and tidy. So that's why you will see that so many marriages will fail in the first couple of years or less. There's no doubt, it's a dangerous period for any marriage. So, you just don't know what's hit you. Now, luckily for us, MRI scans have revealed what goes on in the brain of a man when he finally ties the knot and gets married. Now, pay close attention to this. This is the latest research. Okay, sorry. By about 6 months to a year, you can't believe your fate. The barakah in your life, and the interesting, amazing bounce and the variety now that encapsulates your life is just next to nothing. Because now, on Saturday, you will go shopping. On Sunday, you go shopping. On Wednesday, guess what? You go shopping. And it's amazing that you are now finally being a responsible, patient adult, something you've been waiting for all your life, who will now enjoy having troublesome, sleepless nights with real responsibilities hanging around his neck, that if ignored, everything will simply collapse all around him in a rubble, including his marriage. So, naturally, nobody wants to be single and carefree again. Nobody. You're a good man. You are in love. You have principles. Your parents, they praised you right. More than anything, you're a good Muslim lad. Anyway, but inevitably, some of us will slip up. Unfortunately, it happens. That's part of life. It's reality. It happens. So I'm seriously not trying to judge or make anybody feel uncomfortable. Although you probably will feel uncomfortable and judged, but seriously, it's nothing personal. This is just an observation. And if you can take something from this observation and apply it to your life, then that's a positive thing as far as I'm concerned. What I mean by slip up is, of course, being unfaithful to the missus with somebody else, obviously. So that's what I'm referring to when I mean slip up. Anyway, so when this so-called offer, or those who I need to break it down for, this girl, you know what I mean, comes along, skipping along, it is like a breath of fresh air hitting your face on a hot summer day. Damn, I didn't know I was so poetic. That's what happens, man. Well, first of all, you are finding this girl rather attractive. Ravishing even. Remember, just because you're now married, a married man, it doesn't mean you have stopped being a man. You became a husband, not a homosexual.
Doesn't that make you gay?
So all those manly tendencies that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed on a man, they all sort of start to flare up again. It's been a while, the engine starts going again, boom, 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 boom. It's quite a buzz in and of itself. You haven't had this rush in a while since you've been married. Well, since before you got married. It sort of goes downhill after that, but you know what I mean. Now, MRI scans reveal that something really amazing happens in the brain when we see a banging person we're attracted to. Okay, jokes aside. Here you go.
If you show men photographs of attractive women looking directly at them, there's a little part of their brain called the nucleus accumbens that lights up. Because to have someone look directly at you, especially if they have like a smile, is interpreted as an invitation to approach.
Secondly, and this is often ignored, yet crucial, the first thing that hits you is, the first reality of the situation is, she's not your wife. No, you don't say, because that's what strikes you the hardest, and probably the most potently, at some deep subconscious level. Confused? Look, it's the going away on holiday phenomena. We all crave change from our everyday mundane existence, so never underestimate the power of change and difference, man. You see your wife every day. You hear her voice every day, her habits every day, some annoying, some even more annoying. She loves you. You love her, I assume, I hope, and there's many things you like about her. I don't blame you if you can't list a single one as of right now. There's nothing like putting someone on the spot, I guess. But she's also nagging at you to fix the toilet seat that you've broken with your fat behind. Let's just put it like that. And she's telling you to pick up your clothing off the floor and to go get some groceries, perhaps, because you are in serious danger of starving when you'd rather be playing on your console or football outside with your buddies like you did when you were all single and ready to mingle. I mean, the sheer cheek of the woman to not want to starve. Can you believe that? And to want to live. To not want to live like a pig and have a clean and tidy house. How on earth did you end up with such a terrible wife? Well, your mum didn't treat you like this. No, she didn't. You were her prince. Even your dad was the king of his house. Do you remember those days? And still, the house was spanking and sparkling gem of a thing. Your mum did all the jobs all by herself. What a woman. And by 49, she only had, what, 4 lumbar discs eroded and out of joint? Only 4. How lucky was your dad? If he pushed an open door shut in the house, the man was congratulated for helping out and was given sunnah points. What happened to those days? Now, against this tedium and negative energy, this new soul comes along, skips along in all her simple, beautified, uncluttered glory. I'm just imagining it now, and it's quite powerful. Just imagining it. Imagine it happened in real life, it would be another story. No, it wouldn't, but you know what I mean. Anyway, let's just stay to the track. So you just met her. You've just met her, this new girl. The girl who is not your wife. So that's the crucial distinction, keep in mind. You have just met her. You haven't had time to argue with her. Well, you just simply haven't had any time. So in your head and imagination, that girl is all smiles and pixies and fairies. Whenever you close your eyes, she has a banging, heart-ripping smile. From that, your pathetic brain somehow deduces that unlike your wife, this girl will stay like this forever. Can you imagine it? A giant, frozen, female smile hanging over your head in front of your face. That is all you're seeing in this state of yours. And from that pleasant picture, you further deduce, work out quite idiotically, there's no doubt about it, that she doesn't have a single bone in her body. Sorry, a single bad bone in her whole innocent body. What an expectation and an amazing thought to be enthused by. It's powerful. Now, all is not lost for the good wife who is sitting at home cooking your food, looking after your children, cleaning up after you, and rather daringly, how dare she, assuming that her husband is still devoted, committed, and generally all hers. How dare she assume all that? Oh no, because when you close your eyes as a husband, and this time imagine your wife, you also get a competing, charming image of her amazing qualities, subhanAllah, that even things out a little bit. You know, even things out a little bit. Make the scales even. Thankfully, few. Okay, I'm obviously kidding, guys. Please don't take this literally, and seriously, I'm joking. So, you can't believe your luck with this girl. She's never on your case to take the bins out, for example, or to do the dishes, set the table. This is the girlfriend I'm talking about. She's never tells you to set the table and help with the hoovering, etc. Wow, this girl is amazing. She's perfect. She's not constantly nagging you to do your fair share in the house. Could it be because you don't live with this girl? As you know, living together is the biggest test of a relationship. But you're pathetic. I feel sorry for everyone's brain now. I've just completely destroyed everyone's brain. But your pathetic little brain, at this point, can't figure this out yet. Your brain has been well and truly disengaged by now. It's pretty much swimming away in La La Land. Oh, how this girl is all so pleasant, so easygoing, and oh so understanding of all my manly woes and testosterone-fueled issues. Unlike my wife, whom bites my nose off at the slightest sound I make, she's never telling me to stop playing on my PlayStation or for watching too much television. In fact, she's never telling me to do anything except to turn up and meet her and then spend a pleasant hour of romance and kissy-wissy with her. God, she's perfect. She knows exactly what a guy wants. What a woman! Quality! On top of that, did I tell you that she has no baggage? Oh yes. Can you believe that? A woman without a baggage. This is what dreams are made of. No, I'm serious.
Maybe because you barely know her?
Unlike my wife, this one has no skeletons.
Maybe because you've just met?
Shut up. She's all so innocent and so pure. I can't believe my luck. It's almost like she's come out of the, what do you call it, perfect girl factory and landed straight into my lap. Oh dear, that is so sad. And unlike my wife, she's naturally always dolled up, oozing freshness, looking fantastic, shiny hair with unrushed, perfect eyebrows, like a Chinese bloke did calligraphy on her forehead or something. Amazing. And of course, smelling fragrant. How on earth does she know the smell that you like? How on earth does she know this? She doesn't smell of, excuse me, but onions and garlics. I'm sorry to say it, like the old missus.
Maybe because she's had a week to prepare since she last saw you and hasn't spent the last 6 hours in the kitchen cooking and cleaning after you?
And of course, there's just so much to talk about. Whereas with the wifey, I can barely string a sentence out. You literally feel you can talk to her forever.
Maybe because you just met and you barely know her?
Perhaps, maybe. She's even a long-lost soulmate you've read about and heard about all your life. Well, we'll see about that. So this human being, fresh, innocent, interesting, mysterious. Oh, how mysterious. You compare subconsciously with your poor, exhausted, full of baggage, mentally scarred, unkempt, uninteresting, nagging, and infuriating wife. Naturally, when that happens, the new girl somewhat comes out on top. At the same time, something also happens to you during this process. Overall, the experience makes you feel young again. Like you've suddenly got a second wind or something. And crucially, there is no CCRP. Remember that I mentioned earlier? Well, you should have taken note, because I'm not in the habit of repeating myself. How can you forget the CCRP? Consistency. To hell with consistency. To hell with it, as long as you can see her for a limited period of time at some point in the week or month, and play a little romantic kissy-wissy meal on the side and pair of cinema tickets. She doesn't really, the girlfriend that is, give her flying monkeys about you working and saving up and being responsible for your future children, because there won't be any. So that's a pretty big load off of your shoulder already, isn't it? The second C, commitment. To hell with commitment. You don't have to be committed to this girl. You can essentially just leave her, walk away anytime. And there's no messy divorce, people finding out, people talking about you. So that's another huge load off of your shoulder. You can literally click your finger and she's gone. Next one. our responsibility. To hell with responsibility too. No one knows that she is your girl. It's all secret. You don't have to do anything for her, therefore. Anything you do is bonus. It's just between you and her. So there's no responsibility. Imagine the burden that comes off of your back when you take away responsibility. P, the last one, patience. To hell with patience. To hell with patience. You don't have to be patient with her because you only see her for, say, 1 to 2 hours a week, maybe. And for that very limited short period of time, you can put on a good nice guy act. We can all do a bit of acting. We all think we're Brad Pitt or Shah Rukh Khan in our heads anyway, so there's no big deal. We can do a bit of acting. We can act all romantic, like Shah Rukh Khan with Kajal, so it's not too testing. But perhaps more than anything, what really emotionally turns you on as a bloke is the fact that you are a married, older guy. And that is a big pull. That is a big thing, man. That is a big thing. That rush is big. It's underestimated, but it's big. Because you are this older guy. You're married. You've got baggage, son. You've got baggage. And yet this single young girl, no baggage, no strings, is somehow inexplicably, for some reason that even you can't fathom, even you can't believe it. You're thinking, damn, man, this girl is kind of dumb. Interested in you. How is she interested in you? The ego trip is immense. You are no longer that awkward 16-year-old who gets nervous around girls. You know exactly what buttons to push, and this power that you feel is awesomely addictive and invigorating. Because, at the end of the day, all human beings, and in this case men, we all want to be happy. We all want to feel young again. We all want an interesting life full of fun and excitement. So naturally, we crave that rush of new love and that thrill of getting to know someone for the very first time. All these desires are, of course, natural, because without them, we wouldn't have married our first wife. Indeed, no one would have married anybody, and the human species will have died out by now. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has actually placed this magic, this desire, this need and passion and love between a male and a female. There is a reason behind it, there is a wisdom behind it, subhanallah. But it needs to be applied and utilized properly within certain rules. But on top of that, He has endowed us with other qualities and responsibilities too. So we have these desires, of course, where we want to be with women. Yeah, fair enough. But then we must equally respect and obey other responsibilities. That is, if we want to live a healthy, moral and balanced life. You see that human brain up there? That one, yeah. I know it's very hard to see because it's not very big, but that one, yeah. Guess what? It can do more than one thing at a time. It's very powerful. It's probably the most complex thing we know. People, scientists, still haven't worked it out, how it works completely. And most of the time, for most people, we are sort of in control of it, unlike the animals and the angels who don't have free will like us, like the human beings. We kind of don't have that excuse. Our brain is just simply too capable and too complex for us to get away with that excuse. So, oh boy, that gal damn is fine. I have no excuse. The animal in me has taken over. I have to have her now. To hell with the wife. Maybe an animal like a lion or a zebra can get away with that excuse. Remember, when you were young and you went to mosque, and for a time you were there, you were memorizing the Quran, you were remembering your schoolwork, the trigonometry and your quadratic equations. I'm sure you all remember those still and have used them in your life almost daily, while simultaneously remembering to pray 5 times a day without looking at the girls in your madrasa class and asking them out. How the hell did you manage that when you were young, when you knew even less about life? Well, because you had a brain. You have a will that you control, that you have control over. That is if you want to control it. That is if you take responsibility for it. Because once you stop taking responsibility for it, then all the bloody excuses will come and take over your will and desire. So when an animal feels hunger, it sort of kills the nearest prey and instantly tries to satisfy its hunger. It has to. There is no other option for it. That is how the animal is made. He has no will. He can't hold himself back, unlike human beings. We, on the other hand, have a will that we are able to control and, more importantly, master. We can master it. We can train it to do what we want it to do to a large degree. We are able to, well, most of us, apply our reason and choose a course of action from an available set of options. So life gives you options. Option A, B, C, D, infinite options. Infinite. So let's take an example. We can eat chicken, we can eat beef, we can eat lasagna, we can eat pasta, we can have beans on toast, we can have roast chicken, whatever. We can have salmon, whatever. So tonight, will it be salmon or lasagna for dinner tonight? We choose. We ultimately choose whether we eat what we eat. So when the halal option is available, we have no excuse. We have to go with the halal. We can decide what we eat, and furthermore, we can decide whether this food is halal or haram. So if we are given an option of having haram food or halal food, we can choose. We have the choice and the will to decide one or the two. We cannot say, I was hungry, I'm a lion, I'm hungry, so I went for the food, regardless of it being halal or haram. No, we have a brain, we have desire, we have will, yep, and we can control it. Now, if we have a set of guidelines set out by our Maker, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we can further reduce. So I'm going to reduce it down even more to make relevant to this issue that I'm discussing. It potentially goes something like this. We have a duty to commit and love our wives. That is our duty. Because we married them, we promised to them that we will take care of them, and it is as a husband, we have to commit ourselves and love them and be a good husband. That is our duty. That is the basics of marriage. That is the contract we signed when we got married. We have a duty to raise good Muslim children in loving families. Again, that is part of marriage. When you sign a contract with your wife that you are her husband, it is also implied within that contract, the purpose of your marriage is that you are going to start a family together. And you're going to raise this child or these children within a loving, comfortable, moral, Islamic household. We have a duty to feed our children and wife from halal and raise a good family and then contribute to society. We have a duty to earn halal and raise a good family and feed halal to our children and our wife. And after that, contribute to society through zakah, well, simultaneously, and, for example, contribute in terms of, I don't know, helping at the mosques, helping out the poor and needy, helping the community with the mosque maintenance through charity and sadaqah jariyah, etc. So we have a duty to contribute back. So we have a wife, we build a family, and then we start giving back to society. We are building slowly an ummah. The circle is getting bigger and bigger. The overarching duty we have is, of course, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Praising Him, worshipping Him, knowing Him, obeying Him. So remember, this comes on top of everything else. So we are doing this in this context. We have a duty to set a good example to the next generation and wider society. As a Muslim, that is also our duty. We have to make sure that our lives are worth it, that we have left a mark, that our life has contributed to the ummah and the next generation that will come, because if we don't set a good example, then we tarnish the chances of the next generation to succeed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in His infinite wisdom, has decided all this, that fulfilling and embodying certain tasks and roles in society, so doing certain things, ensures a wholesome, morally productive Muslim. So if we follow these responsibilities and guidelines, we will become good, productive Muslims. Because remember, we are first and foremost Muslims. That is our ultimate identity. Now, if anything takes us away from this balanced approach, we are essentially derailing and diminishing our role and position in society, our dignity and status before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because we have a noble, multifaceted role to play. So how does taking on a girl, friend, tarnish all that? Well, when we take on a side chick, we are effectively abandoning all of our other responsibilities. We are depriving and devaluing our bond with our wife, who has a right. She has a right to our unswerving love, integrity, and companionship. I'm afraid that's just in the contract. If you don't like the contract, do something about it. But once you've signed the nikah contract, I'm afraid you have to be committed. There's no two ways about it. We are also depriving and lessening our bond with our children, that also have a right to our fathership, to our guidance, to our honesty, integrity, and commitment. So we're depriving them too. We are also depriving society and the ummah, who have a right to our setting a good example and strengthening the ummah. And more than anything, we are depriving ourselves of the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the hereafter. So the knock-on effects of having a side chick is immense. Now you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? It comes at a big, big cost. As you know, nothing is free in this world. You are essentially saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I don't care what your guidelines are. I don't care what your law is. They mean nothing to me. I literally, voluntarily, am opting out of your divine system. Instead, I'm going to follow my own instincts, my own set of rules, and abandon all my so-called responsibilities you have recommended for me. What a statement to send to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I have decided unilaterally that I will simply live life to satisfy myself in this regard. But this is not the way of a Muslim. This was not the example set by the Prophet ﷺ and all the other prophets. So we have to really ask ourselves, what do we want to be the example of our life? Okay, so I'm going to end it there. There may be another video after this. I'm thinking, I think there are a few loose ends to be tied up, which will be tied up inshallah in the next video, on more in terms of solutions and in terms of going a little deeper into the subject. We've sort of talked about the situation as it arises, what happens, how people stray, why people stray, and the next video we will be looking at hopefully how we can strengthen ourselves against this thing, against being unfaithful, how we can remotivate ourselves to do the right thing, how we can rediscover the value of marriage, the sanctity of marriage, and restore our fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His law. Because ultimately that is what it's all about. So that will be the next video, inshallah. Look out for that. Make sure you subscribe, you like this video, comment inshallah if you liked it. And I will see you in the next video, inshallah. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.